All right, so you want to know what's really going on with East Bengal FC?
We're talking the good, the bad, and the how to fix it.
Exactly. We dug deep into the data, and let me tell you, things get pretty interesting.
Yeah, some fascinating patterns popping up in their performance, for sure.
So let's break it down. Starting with the big one, points per game,
PPG.
right? East Bengal FC is currently at a .9 PPG average for the season.
Compared to the league average of 1.4.
Oof, that doesn't sound great.
Well, it's definitely a significant gap. You know, to be competitive, they need more wins. Straight up, a 0.9 average means they're stuck in a cycle of draws and losses.
Yeah, and for the fans, week after week, that's got to be frustrating to watch your team struggle like that. So why aren't they winning more? Let's look at the goal difference data.
Now that's where things get interesting. It's a real roller coaster.
How so?
Well, at times they've hit a +2 goal difference,
Yeah.
which is fantastic, but then we see these dips down to -1, even -2.
So inconsistency is the issue.
Exactly. That kind of inconsistency is a big red flag.
Makes you wonder what's happening behind the scenes. Are there tactical errors, players losing focus?
Could be a number of factors, but one period that really jumps out is November and December.
What happened then?
They had a good run going, goal difference was healthy, but then January hits, and everything just seemed to fall apart.
So a missed opportunity.
Absolutely. If they'd maintained that momentum, who knows what could have happened.
So takeaway number one, they need to find some consistency.
For sure. And that begs the question, what happened in January? Change in tactics, a dip in morale. These are things we need to dig into.
Okay, let's talk tactics. We analyzed their performance across different formations.
Yeah.
Get this. They're 4-4-1-1 formations, like their secret weapon.
Oh, it's true. When they use that formation, they consistently have a positive goal difference, like averaging +2. Can't argue with the numbers.
But here's the thing that's confusing. They keep using formations that just don't work. The 4-3-3 and the 4-2-3-1 consistently lead to negative goal differences.
Yeah, it's like they have this winning formula, but they just won't stick with it. Maybe they're afraid of becoming predictable, or maybe they're just overthinking it.
Whatever the reason, the data's clear. If you want results, stick with the 4-4-1-1. And speaking of tactics, this is where it gets really interesting. We're talking formation matchups.
Ah, yes. This is a fun one. It's like rock, paper, scissors for football. Certain formations just have an advantage over others.
So how does this apply to East Bengal FC?
Well, as we've seen, their 4-4-1-1 is strong, but it seems particularly effective against certain formations, like the 4-2-3-1 and the 4-4-2. Something about those matchups just clicks for them.
So it's not just about picking a good formation. It's about picking the right formation for the opponent you're facing. Adds a whole new level of strategy.
Exactly. Pre-game analysis is key.
Makes sense. All right, let's shift gears and talk goal scoring. East Bengal has an interesting situation on their hands.
David Lawlenson got top scorer.
Yep, accounting for over 50% of their goals.
That's a lot of pressure on one player.
It is, you have to wonder, what if he has an off day? Or gets injured? Their entire attack could fall apart.
Exactly. And here's another interesting tidbit. Their second highest scorer is a defender.
Wait, what?
Yep, Lolchenunga. He scored 27% of their goals. It's pretty unusual.
That's wild. So what does that tell us?
Well, it could mean a couple of things. Maybe they relied too much on set pieces, or maybe their defenders are pushing up into the attack more often than usual.
Interesting. So the question is, how do they get the rest of the team, especially the midfielders, more involved in scoring?
That's the million-dollar question. Unlocking that midfield potential could be the key to a more balanced and dynamic attack.
All right, so we've uncovered some challenges here, but we've also identified some clear areas for improvement.
And that's what this deep dive is all about.
Right.
Using data to understand the problems and find solutions.
Exactly. So let's move on to part 2 and explore those solutions in more detail.
It's fascinating. It's not just about formations and goals. It's about the whole picture.
Yeah.
The team's mindset, their resilience, the leadership on and off the field.
Yeah, because ultimately it's about creating that winning culture, that belief that they can achieve anything.
Exactly. And that starts with addressing those key areas we've talked about. So first up, tactical adjustments.
Okay, so we know the 4-4-1-1 is working, but what else can they do tactically to really step it up?
Well, for starters, they got to commit to what's working. The data's clear. Stick with the 4-4-1-1 and maybe even experiment more with the 4-4-2. Remember we saw some promising results with that earlier in the season?
Yeah, build on those wins, create that positive cycle, and let that momentum carry them forward.
Exactly. But it's not just about sticking to the familiar or member formation matchups. They need to be adaptable.
Right. like a chess game, anticipating the opponent's moves and countering them.
Exactly. Imagine the coach using this data to create a game plan specifically designed to exploit the other team's weaknesses. That's next level stuff.
Right. Next up, defensive stability. We saw those swings in goal difference, those moments where things just seemed to unravel at the back.
Yeah, definitely an area for improvement. They got to tighten things up defensively, and there are a few ways to approach that.
Like what? Be specific.
Oh, it could be as simple as improving communication between the back line and the midfield.
Mhm.
You know, reduce those gaps that opponents can exploit. Or maybe it's about adopting a more conservative approach in certain games, prioritizing a clean sheet over all-out attack.
Sometimes a gritty 1-0 win is all you need.
Absolutely. And those hard-fought victories can do wonders for team confidence.
Okay, let's flip the script and talk attack David Lalansunga. He's a goal-scoring machine. But is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a double-edged sword, for sure. He's a fantastic player. But relying too heavily on any one player can be dangerous.
Right. What happens if he gets injured? Or has an off day? Suddenly their entire offensive strategy falls apart.
Exactly. So the key is diversification. They need to find ways to get the other players, especially those midfielders, more involved in creating and finishing scoring opportunities.
We saw glimpses of that potential earlier. Remember Jeekson saying he's got a knack for finding the back of the net.
Absolutely. Imagine if they could unlock his full potential, create those dynamic attacking partnerships that keep defenses guessing. That's where the magic happens.
So to recap, tactical tweaks, defensive improvements, and a more dynamic, unpredictable attack. What else can they do to reach that next level?
Well, this is where things get a little less tangible, but equally important. We need to talk about the mental game resilience, the ability to handle pressure, belief.
Yeah. We talk about those wild swings in performance, that inconsistency that's been plaguing them.
Exactly. They need to develop that winning mindset, that unwavering belief that they can overcome anything.
That sounds like it goes beyond just tactics and formations.
It absolutely does. It's about creating a culture of accountability, where every player is pushing themselves and their teammates to be their best. It's about learning from mistakes, bouncing back from setbacks, maintaining that fire and hunger throughout the season.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that success in football, just like in life, it's not just about physical talent. It's about mental fortitude.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now remember, these are just some initial observations based on the data we've analyzed. There's always more to uncover, more insights to glean.
And that's what makes this so exciting, right? It's about using data as a starting point to spark deeper conversations, to challenge assumptions, and ultimately to drive positive change.
Exactly. And as we move into the final part of our deep dive, let's shift our focus to the bigger picture. What does all of this mean for the future of East Bengal FC?
Okay, so we've talked tactics, formations, the mental side of the game. But what does it all mean for East Bengal FC moving forward? Can they actually turn things around? Can they become a real contender?
You know, it's interesting. Despite all the challenges, the data actually shows a lot of potential. And remember, this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. This is about a team, a club with a rich history life, passionate fans.
Right, those supporters who show up every week hoping to see their team succeed.
Exactly. And you see those moments of brilliance, those wins with the 4-4-1-1, those flashes of creativity from the midfield, and you realize the ingredients for success are there.
They've shown they can compete at a high level. It's just about finding that consistency.
Consistency, that's the key word. If they can tighten up that defense, unlock that attacking potential in the midfield, and cultivate that winning mindset, they could absolutely become a force to be reckoned with.
It's exciting to think about what they could achieve if they put it all together.
Imagine East Bengal FC going from a team struggling to stay afloat to a top contender, challenging for the title.
Headlines write themselves. East Bengal FC's remarkable turnaround.
A story that would resonate with fans not just in Kolkata, but across the country. It's a testament to the power of data and a team's willingness to adapt and change.
So to all the East Bengal supporters out there, don't lose hope. The data shows there's work to be done, but it also shows a path forward.
And here's a thought. If they can truly harness their potential, what's their ceiling? Could they reach the very top? It's something to think about.
We've given you the insights. Now it's up to you to draw your own conclusions. What do you think the future holds for East Bengal FC?
That's what I love about these deep dives. We explore the data, we find the hidden patterns, but ultimately it's up to each individual to interpret that information and imagine the possibilities.
And who knows, maybe East Bengal FC will surprise us all. We'll definitely be watching. Until next time, keep exploring, Keep analyzing, and never underestimate the power of data.
And most importantly, keep believing in the beautiful game. Anything is possible.